by letting more people into Zoom. And I'm really glad you're here. Really, really glad you're here. And Sonia, it's lovely to see you. Like, not just a picture. Thanks. Okay. Is it Brianna or Brianna? The first one or the second one?
It's Brianna.
Brianna. Okay, great. Good to see you too. All right.
Thanks, Alison.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I'm gonna dive into this, and I may be interrupted to admit some more people. I'm gonna try not to do that too much because you're the ones that are here at the beginning, and I really appreciate that. This topic, having to do with being emotionally available, is amongst the things that men and women experience the most differently. So all the things that I've been able to distinguish and sort out, but that involves gender, that isn't just being human, which is a whole bunch of other stuff. Emotional availability and safety would be amongst the two. Those right off the top, those are like, whoa, huge differences. And if you'd like to know more about the differences between men and women in safety, there's a sample right at AlisonArmstrong.com. And I'm going to rename myself so you can see that easily. Should have done that before. That perfect person would have done that before. So there's on the front page, if you scroll down, the part just before the bottom with a quote from Dennis Prager and Alanis Morissette says, why are men and women so different? If you click on that, there's a 30-minute free sample from our Understanding Women course that distinguishes men and women in safety. And it's right up there, how men and women relate to safety and how men and women relate to emotions and feelings. And in a bit, I'm going to tell you why do I distinguish those two. So first, I'm going to start with the bottom line. If you're going to have a man seem emotionally available, behave as if he's emotionally available, be encouraged to be emotionally available, find out if he's actually emotionally available. You have to really be curious and maybe even a bit skeptical about the term emotionally available. So one of the things that we explore in our Understanding Men course is how much women assume that men are a kind of woman and that men are supposed to act like women. And it's fair to expect of them to act like women. And if they're not acting like women, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with them that they're not acting like women, or there's something wrong with us that they're not willing to make the effort to act like a woman. So the assumption in emotionally available or emotionally unavailable is that we're the same, but they won't talk about them. And the fundamental premise that we're the same is where it goes awry. And one of the things that happens with assuming we are the same, but they're refusing to talk about them, is we think they are misbehaving and should be punished for that, or they're misbehaving because they're defective. There's something wrong with them. Like one of the questions that was posted, is he unstable if he's not emotionally available? And there's another question, why am I attracted to emotionally unavailable men? Well, the simplest answer to that is, and I'm going to keep saying it the same way, if a man seems emotionally unavailable, then that means he's a man that we would be attracted to, because we're attracted to what we perceive as strong. We're attracted to strength. That's what gets our attention and causes chemistry, is strength. And men who talk a lot about their feelings don't appear strong. So it's something we think we want, but if they do it a lot, they will appear to us as weak, and there will be no chemistry. We'll be like, geez, I'm going to have to save this guy. Who's going to save me? So the why are you attracted to men who are emotionally unavailable? Well, you're attracted to men who act like men, act like manly men, right? They're going to be fierce, and they're going to be warriors, and they're going to be providers and protectors, and it's awesome. And those men don't naturally talk about their emotions or their feelings. And it's not because there's something wrong with them. It's because it's part of what it is to be a man. It's part of how it's configured, if you will. So I'm going to see if I can unpack this, because you can absolutely have men talk about their emotions and feelings. You can, but it's going to require some things of you. And not because there's something wrong with them, or something that if you changed how you are, like if they loved you more, cared about you more, respected you more, they just naturally open up and let it all pour out. No, it doesn't work like that. Even though we think it should, it doesn't. So if you're willing to find out how it actually does work, you can actually, oh my gosh, you can have men express to you things that could have been unthinkable, right? You can have men express to you at a depth that is astonishing. And what I would point to you for that is just like do some research on books of poetry and songs written by men. Songs are a kind of poetry. It's amazing. And it's not just musicians who express themselves in emotional ways about their feelings, and it's intense. In fact, I believe that men's emotions and feelings are more intense than those that women experience. I've been paying attention to this for a long time. So what's available if we're willing to take on this thing about men seeming to be emotionally unavailable is really it's been beyond my wildest dreams, the depth of emotion and feeling that men experience and can express. Okay, so starting there. So assuming you're interested in taking this on, anybody, you want to raise your hand? Yeah, I want to take it on. I want to know what it is. I want to know what it is. Okay, good. Oh, Jeremy, would you do me a favor? Could you, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and Tyler's managing Instagram and Facebook, so he can't really do this. But if you would just nod your head, I told Tyler what I wanted to say, and he's like, oh yeah. Like everything was just so obvious to him. You would just be what we would call my man panel. You're my instant man panel. That
perfect.
And you don't have to exaggerate. You don't have to fib. Just when it's like hits the mark for you, boom. Okay.
You got it. I can definitely do that for
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That'll help everyone. It'll help everyone so much. Okay. So if you're going to take on this whole business, which don't do it half-heartedly, don't do it like, I'll just try, I'll just wing it, see what happens. Either take it on or leave it alone, because it's huge. Okay. Everybody got that? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So the first thing, if you want a man to be what women call emotionally available, by the way, men do not have that term. Oh, I wish my best bro were more emotionally available. Not gonna happen. The term itself is so girly. So you got to start with being what I am now naming emotionally respectful. Emotionally respectful. If you're going to have a man seem like he's emotionally available, act like you think an emotionally available person would. You've got to start with being emotionally respectful. And what I mean by that, the first part of it is we have to let go of the idea that we are entitled to hear about a man's emotions and feelings. We have to let go of the expectation. If you really loved me, you would share your feelings with me. If you were a real man, you would share your feelings with me. If you really cared about me, if you respected me, if you wanted to be close, if you wanted to connect, you would share your feelings with me. And I'm your wife. You owe me your feelings. I'm your girlfriend. You owe me your feelings. I'm your mother. You owe me your feelings. It's never going to have men express more of their emotions and feelings. That sense of entitlement and expectation and we're owed it, it's not going to work. Jeremy, would you concur? It'll never work. Yes, thank you. It'll never work. And then we'll just end up more upset because if you really love me, then it would work. Because then I could complain about you not sharing your feelings, and that would have you share your feelings if you really loved me. No, it's not going to work. So that's the first place we got to start, is being respectful. And then in the entitlement expectation department. And then the second way to be respectful is actually to take on, I know a man who coined it from furious to curious. Take on, what if there's a good reason? What if there are a lot of good reasons men don't just spill about emotions and feelings? What if there's a really good reason for that? And if we can understand what emotions and feelings are for men, and therefore what's required on our part for them to express them to us, if we can take that on, and another way of saying that is become wise. And wise, we talk about this in the Mega U event, which you can listen to for free on our site as well. And wisdom, someone I know defined it as knowledge plus love. So a lot of times knowledge is used against people. And this would be something that by understanding it and being for men, believing in men, which by the way, is something I did not believe in men when I started studying them in 1991. I really didn't. And it was not revealed to me until I engaged in that process. And it still gets revealed to me. It's still in there, a kind of disbelief and belief and suspicion and jump to conclusions. I apologized to my boyfriend for he did something and I was like, oh, well, that's because he's one of those, right? That's what my head thought. It's still in there. We got to watch out for how skeptical and suspicious we are of who men are and their motives, because they're so much deeper and so much gooder. They're so much gooder than we know. How's that for a word? So if you were going to take on being emotionally wise, one of the things that I have found really useful is this distinction that I alluded to in the beginning of emotions versus feelings. And I wish I could credit the person, but somebody said emotions, if you think of them as emotion, energy in motion. If we think of it that way, of emotions as energy in motion, that's a place that you can start to see the difference between emotions and feelings. So I'm just going to invite you to look in your own bodies, right? And notice, for example, excitement. I assert that excitement is an emotion. It zooms around our bodies. I just can't sit still. I'm so excited, right? Anger zooms around, right? Huge energy zooming around our bodies. Contrast that with, for example, the feeling of joy. And just think of joy or happiness and notice where in your body do you experience joy or happiness. I assert that it's a feeling. Those are feelings, and feelings have a home in our bodies, and they live there. And you can actually see them in terms of quantity. How much joy am I experiencing right now? I'm experiencing so much joy that my chest is feels like it's going to burst, right? Sadness is a feeling that lives in a place in your body. Dread, another feeling, as opposed to fear. Fear can show up all over our body. An emotion, right? Versus dread. It's like lead, right? And it sits in a particular place. I could keep going. Shame, one of the worst feelings I assert a human being can feel, shame, but it's also key. It's key to being reunited with our own spirit. Shame is actually extraordinary to work with. And it lives in a particular place. It's one of the worst feelings, and it has a place it shows up in. Now, why am I not saying the place it shows up in? Because another big difference between men and women is where we experience our feelings. And a man asked me once, it's so funny, why do women make their feelings the center of everything? Well, duh, because they are. And one of the things that surprises men is to find out how this place in our chest, I'll tilt this down, this place in our chest, about this size of my hand right here in our chest, that's where our feelings live. Many of our feelings, not all of them, shame will live in a different place, dread will live in a different place, but you can find happiness, joy, sadness right there in that center. And if you ask a man, though, and sometimes it's pretty cute because sometimes they don't know. I asked so many men, okay, so where do you feel happiness? And they'd be like, they're thinking, because men don't pay attention to their feelings the way women do. And one of the reasons they don't pay attention to their feelings the way women do is because their feelings are not in the center. They're not right here, like unavoidable. They're not in the center. And so I propose to men, check this out. Do you experience happiness like this? And I've suggested to them where they experience happiness. And then they're like, oh yeah, then pay a whole lot of attention to women being happy. They don't pay a lot of attention to themselves being happy. But I'll give you a hint where men experience happiness. Think of a man jumping up to hit like the hoop on a basketball court, or jump up to hit the beam above a door, or going high five, right? Or taking a ball and spiking it, right? A football. Men experience happiness in their chests, happy, and then a big happy goes down their arms and out their hands. Can you relate to that, Jeremy? Yeah. And so when you guys are happy, when men are happy, you're like, whoa, like you can see a man's happiness in this, like gets, women called it puffed up. Men puff up when they're happy. Now, unfortunately, when men puff up, it's scary to most women. And so women will attack men when men are happy. Now you can relate to this, ladies, because you've been attacked when you're happy. Mostly women attack women when they're happy. Mothers and sisters are really good at this. We attack each other when the other is happy. Something I've been working on for about 30 years to fix. Happiness is so important. So that's one of the feelings that's in a very different place for men. It's interesting also that anger can get expressed the same way. even better than that, rage. Anger zooming all around, rage will show up also in the hands. Also in it's why hitting shows up. Just so mad, right? Again, it gets expressed out that place. Very different places. And not all emotions and not all feelings are in the same place in every man. It's something to find out from him. Where do you experience dread? Right? Dread, often the minor form of dread, is often worded worry. Where do you experience worry? Not completely consistent. Some men experience it in their gut, some experience it in their lower back. It's something really good to ask about. So we're really different in where we experience it, and then therefore how we relate to it. And one of the things also, if you were going to be emotionally wise, is to understand that as a man, what is valued as a man amongst men is, are you honorable? Are you an honorable person? And this causes the most confusion because, and I've talked to so many men about this, because what it means to be honorable, and ladies, this may shake your world, what it means to be honorable is to do the right thing no matter how you feel. What? Jeremy's nodding, thank you. To do the right thing no matter how you feel. This is so hard for women because we think our feelings tell us the right thing. We think this place is also the source of truth. And we can be misled by our feelings. That if we love someone, we think whatever that we're compelled to do for the reason that we have the feeling, but I love him so much, we think that's the right thing to do. We're mad at ourselves when we betray our feelings. Men are mad at themselves when they betray the right thing because of how they felt. That because they were angry, they didn't do the right thing. Or because they cared so much for someone, they didn't do the right thing. Because they love someone so much, they didn't do the right thing. Or because they're so attracted to someone or attached to someone, they didn't do the right thing. So we're opposites in this way. Now, this is something I've been working on reconciling for about 30 years. And discovering that, and the Queen's Code is a lot about this, that as a woman, we actually need to generate our own code of honor. Because our relationship to our feelings will have us do things that men would consider absolutely dishonorable and make us untrustworthy. So one of the ways that we put this in our Understanding Men course is men trust facts, not feelings. Men trust facts, not feelings. And this is why men have a hard time understanding women's relationships to safety. Because when a woman says, I don't feel safe, he will tell her all the factual reasons that she ought to feel safe. And that doesn't make a woman feel safe. We don't feel safe based on facts. And men will recite facts. But that's not what has us feel safe. What has us feel safe is connection. And the right kind of attention so that we can have connection. So again, I'm going to encourage you to watch the video on our website, The Biggest Difference, Why Are Men and Women So Different? It'll distinguish safety for men and women. You'll see how shocked the men are, and you may be shocked yourself to see men's relationship to safety. So this business of honor, doing the right thing no matter how you feel, that's part of being wise. And men trust facts, not feelings, is also really important, because why we want men to share their feelings with us and their emotions with us is because A, we think we'll be more connected. When they do, we'll get to connect at the most important level, at the level of emotion and feeling, and we'll have a connection, and then I'll feel safe for her. And we also think if they'll share their feelings with us, then we'll be able to predict what they're going to do. And then we'll feel safer, because then they won't be so surprising and unpredictable in a bad way. If I know your feelings, I think I know what you'll do. But men pride themselves on not acting on their feelings, to really think, and gosh, they struggle. They so struggle with having extremely intense feelings and doing battle with themselves to do the right thing. And even with other men, to do the right thing. Hey, dude, do the right thing. And it's no matter how you feel. Jeremy, can you weigh in on that? Yeah. And it, oh my gosh, the pain of doing the right thing. There's a lyric in a song about, it's a Gaelic song, and it's about, what she says is she's praying for the day when honor and friendship unite. One of the biggest conflicts for a man, the right thing to do and what friendship and loyalty tells him to do. Head-on collision, both high values, and sometimes they collide. When honor and friendship unite is what she was praying for. Are you starting to get a sense of how much more complex, how much deeper men are? When I saw how much men are reconciling paradoxes, they are reconciling paradoxes constantly to choose the right thing to do and to overcome their own impulses and reactions and do the right thing. And ladies, you may think they fail at this a lot, but it's not true. They fail at this. Their success at this is enormous. As they mature, it gets bigger, and they respect themselves and each other for it. And I'll just give you a really simple example if you want to go see how much men keep doing the right thing instead of what they feel like doing. And just notice if you like to hang around gay men. If you just feel really, really comfortable around gay men, they're just so lovely to be around. Well, one of the things that makes them lovely to be around is they are not, moment by moment, having to rein in their physical attraction to you. Straight men who are attracted to you are over and over and over again doing the right thing instead of just grabbing a bit of that beauty. Jeremy, yes? Yes. And if you pay attention, the tension we feel in men's bodies is them overcoming the impulse. They have such discipline. It's extraordinary. And this is usually used as an insult to compare men to dogs. But honestly, we love dogs so much, their affection, their attention, their forgiveness. And I watch my border collies, his body is shaking as he's overcoming the impulse to jump on me and lick my face because I've taught him to not do that. And he's going, and every shake is him, no, impulse, no. He stops himself over and over again, and he gets so many points for that. What if we gave men points for everything they're not doing in order to do the right thing? They're so amazing. They're so beautiful. There are so many men, you'll never find out they're attracted to you. Ever, because they're overcoming that impulse. You'll never know. And they don't want to risk losing having you in their lives. They want you to be in their lives no matter what. So they're never going to let you know how attracted they are to you. because they think they don't have a chance. So they're going to stick in the friend zone. It's better to have her in my life this way than not at all. Yeah. Can you see Jeremy nodding his head? I'm so grateful you're here, Jeremy, because I talk about how amazing men are, till I'm blue in the face, and until women do our workshops and see it all line up, and go over what I call the waterfall, right? In the Queen's Code book or in our workshops, like suddenly like, oh my gosh, what she's saying is true. Shit, howdy, this is who they are, and I missed it all this time. Okay, so this is going to lead to the last piece. Oh, okay, so we have some late people. I'm admitting them in, and then I'm not going to admit anybody else in. I clicked admit all. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about it anymore. So here's the last part. If you want men to express their emotions and feelings to you, you're going to have to be what you want them to be. And you may think it's ridiculous, and then you'll never get it. And what you're going to have to be, and you're going to have to be this in the present, and you're going to have to be this in the future, and you're going to have to be this in the past, which may sound weird, but you can do it. What you're going to have to be for them to share their emotions and feelings with you, the way that we all seem to want them to, is you're going to have to be safe. You're going to have to be safe. And this was the first thing that I had to explore and even, I wouldn't say master, because to me, a master would never make a mistake, but I rarely do, is being safe. How do you be safe for a man to express himself? And the first thing that I learned about it came from sitting in airplanes and the men next to me pouring their hearts out. Even a man just sitting waiting for a plane. He started talking to me about what it was like from when his sister died, and he was crying. And he kept saying, I can't believe I'm telling you this. I can't believe I'm telling you this. And I've sat next to so many men in airplanes who go like, I can't believe I'm telling you this. My wife doesn't know this about me. But the first thing is, I know that they tell me it because they already know I'm safe in the future. I don't know their name. I don't know where they live. I can't keep in touch with them. I cannot use the information against them. So they already know the future safety is taken care of. I'm already safe in the past because they haven't shared something with me that I revealed to somebody else. Big no. I haven't taken what they shared with me in the past and used it against them to manipulate them in some future. So I've got no past where I was unsafe and have proven I'm untrustworthy. I have no future where I could be unsafe and hurt them with this information. So all they're taking me at is from the present. How am I being now? And how I'm being now is I'm authentically curious. I authentically believe the best in them. And I wait. I don't rephrase a question. I don't interrupt them in the middle of what they're saying. I don't do, oh, me too, or but what about? I just listen and listen and listen and listen, as this is an honorable man telling me what's true for him. And I just keep listening, and they keep talking. And we teach this in the Queen's Code and Understanding Men. We call it waiting for the well, because our feelings are right here. They're just right here. Men's feelings they're buried deeper. They're at the bottom of the well. And so you have to take time to let them go there and find out it's okay to go there and to go there again. If you want to hear about men's feelings, you have to wait a long time. What do I mean by a long time? I mean, you count to 30 and you count to 30 again and you count to 30 again. Jerry, you may have to ask him a question and say, you can get back to me when it works for you, but I'd really like to know, how do you feel about me? And like, if he gets back to you in a month, because he's thinking, how do I feel about her? I don't know. I just keep wanting to be around her. But how do I feel about her? Good. I feel good. I feel good about her. How do I feel about her? And then when he finally sees how he feels about her, and he finally sees how he really feels about her, which his buddies have been teasing him about already, then he has an, oh shit. Because the deepest feeling he can have about her, and women, you're thinking, oh, love, she's going to say love, she's going to say love. No, listen to In Sync with the Opposite Sex. The deepest feeling he can have is, and the riskiest feeling he can have is, he cares. Oh shit, I care. And caring is the biggest investment of energy a man can make, is to care. And they practice not caring. Honey, do you want your sandwich cut on the diagonal or the horizontal? I don't care. I don't care, and I'm not willing to care. I am not going to spend energy on something like that. It's just going in my mouth. When women say I don't care, we're like, when men say I don't care, we're like, what are you, too stupid to care? No, they're too smart to care. I learned a lot from men about, I'm not willing to care about that. That pillow's crooked and I don't care. It's not going to get me up off the couch to go straighten it. Not this time. It's done it 1,000 times before, but not this time. Okay. Now, how to be safe in the future? Don't use it against him. Well, you said you loved me. Supposedly you care about me. Therefore, you will. Not if it isn't the right thing. He'll be ashamed of himself if he does it because of how much he cares about you, but it's not the right thing. You can't throw it back at them. And for God's sake, don't tell someone else what he said. Do not reveal him to somebody else. Every instinct is to conceal what can be used against him. And if you're like, oh, I'm so important to Jeremy, he told me this, and how he really feels about what happened to his sister is, that's it. That's the end of you hearing about his feelings. That might be the end of everything. You betrayed him. Yeah, this is scary for women because we will use what other people reveal to us to prove how important we are, to gain status by showing how important we are to somebody. We betray people, their confidences, to show I was important enough to be showed that way. Becoming amazing secret keepers is part of having men share their secrets with you, and their feelings are their secrets. Big time, especially their bad feelings. So, thank God they feel bad about so many things. Oh my gosh. When you find out what men feel bad about, you find out how good they are. How truly, deeply good they are. So don't betray them in the future. Listen and wait in the present. And if you betrayed them in the past, if you interrupted them when they decided to share their feelings with you, if you argued with them about you shouldn't feel like that, what do you think when the man tells you you shouldn't feel like that? Do you ever punch him or wish you could? Or if you've ever betrayed him, the best thing to do is clean it up. Honey, I didn't know. You know, this is what we just did now is going to be on Instagram, on Facebook. Tyler will put it on YouTube. Honey, could you please watch this for me and be my Jeremy? Could you let me know if this fits for you? And and can I apologize? Can I own it and be so sorry for what I did? They're actually really amazing. Men are accused of being insensitive, but they're not. They're highly sensitive. And one of the things they're sensitive to is when you say what you mean and you mean what you say. And your feeling matches your words. So don't ever bullshit men about this business. They can tell, and it'll make everything worse. So don't apologize. Don't say, I'm sorry. Don't try to clean it up until you're done making excuses for it. And Terry, like, all I can say is I didn't know. But that doesn't justify it. And I'm so sorry. And maybe they'll trust you. Maybe they'll trust you again if you listen long enough. So, can you have men share their feelings and their emotions with you? Absolutely. Are they deep and amazing, rich, and colorful? And I swear they're more intense than ours. It's so un-PC to say it, but in my experience, men love more deeply than women. What if it's true? What if you could find it out? What if you could receive it? It's an awesome thing to be wrong about, thinking women love more than men. It's an amazing thing to be wrong about. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? It's also good to know that you don't have to work for it. It's like my children. I don't think I did something particularly well with them. I just didn't squish them too much. You don't have to get men to love you. They're born loving us. Just don't keep doing the stuff that has them stop. It's something not to earn. It's something not to blow. And they value authenticity so much. Be real. Be real, and you can't not be loved because it's already there for them. Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. All right. That's my you guys asked a big question. There's a big answer. Thanks for listening. Did you let it in? Did you get it? Are you letting it in? Yay. High five. Okay. Mwah. Until next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.